Hi, Namaste. My name is Kartika and this is my channel Synchro Shakti. Today I want to share with you a very simple emotional release technique, and this one is called Dissociation. Now, Dissociation is an NLP technique. NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, and the technique is basically a very thought-based cognitive technique, which means it requires your mental power. Now, what it does is that it simply vanishes, negates, or reduces the intensity of the emotions you feel in regards to a particular negative memory. So if you have a memory that continues to haunt you today, a lesson that you've learned from the memory, but then every time you think about it, it just feels so bad. Every time you meet the person associated with the memory, it doesn't feel too good. This is the technique that you want to do. Now, there's a lot that can be spoken about this technique, but the principal core reason why this technique works is because your brain cannot tell the difference between what is happening around it in reality and what is happening in the imagination. Which is why when you go back into a negative memory, you begin to feel the same emotions associated with that memory. Let me just briefly describe to you the difference between what it means to be associated in a memory and what it means to be disassociated. So, associated is when you're experiencing the event through your own senses. An example of which is if your boss is screaming at you, you are feeling a certain intensity of emotions because you are going through the experience in your own body, right? That is being associated. Now imagine you're just walking across the hall and you look to the side and you see your boss is screaming at this random employee. You don't feel that bad, right? You may feel bad, but you don't feel that bad. So the intensity of emotions is much less because you're disassociated from the character who's going through the experience. So what we are going to simply do with this technique is that we're going to take the character of the experience in your memory, which is you, and we're going to disassociate from that character. We're going to be a passive observer to whatever had happened. So having said that, let's just jump right into the technique. So the technique has two parts. The first part is very simple. Close your eyes, pick the memory that you want to work with. Make sure you've learned the lessons behind this memory and that you're not just ignoring the lessons. Make sure you see a positive side to why this could have happened. And then pick the memory and start playing the memory in your mind from beginning to end as though it's a movie that's being played, except that it's happening to you right this instant. So you're experiencing the memory through your own senses as though it's happening to you right now, right? Be aware of the emotions that are coming up for you and rate between 1 to 10 how intense the emotions are. Once the entire emotion is played out and you're ready to open your eyes and clear the screen, okay? Your mind is now blank, okay? Part 2 of this technique, okay, which is basically step 2 of this technique, is you go back into the memory, right? Now before you press play and the memory starts playing from beginning to end, in your mind's eye, step out of your body, okay, and observe the event happening to this person and you are just a passive observer observing what is happening to this person. You're just a passerby who's just observing what's happening to this person. And then press play and then see the entire event happening and you're just watching from the side. Okay, it could be anywhere in that room or place. You're just watching as a passive observer. Now, imagine and then start noticing what is the intensity of the emotion that you're feeling. Now, I'm looking to see how much time I have left on my battery. Okay. Now, imagine that there's a building behind where this experience is taking place, and you're standing on the first floor balcony of that building, looking down at the experience unfolding, and you're just looking down at the characters below and you're just seeing what's happening. Notice the intensity of emotion, if at all you're feeling anything. Was it the same amount of intensity as when you were associated with the memory, which was step 1, or is it different? Now you're on the 10th floor of that building, looking down, way down the same thing, the same incident is unfolding to the characters below. Just notice the intensity of emotion. If you're feeling anything, is it reduced than when you were associated with it, or has it not reduced when you've been associated with it? Now imagine yourself sitting on the moon, and below you is the earth, and there are billions of people and billions of experiences happening to billions of people around the world, and there somewhere in one corner in this continent is this experience that you had happening to a bunch of people there, or happening to a person there, and you're looking at it from the perspective of the moon. So you're far up in above the earth and you're seeing this happening. Is the emotional intensity you're feeling right now the same as when you felt it when you were associated with the memory? Now clear the screen, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I'm basically just giving you the steps. Just write this down and do it within your own time. Alright, so now that you've come out of this, try to bring back the original memory. And when you bring back, if you can bring back the original memory, just notice how you feel about it. Do you feel as intense as you did before, or do you feel differently? Chances are that you felt differently. Now my battery, I believe, is about to die. So I'm going to take your leave, and I will see you again next weekend with another NLP technique, which is called submodalities, which basically we're creating your own mental Photoshop to completely shift around in emotions. We're going to add funny music, we're going to fast forward the dialogues, we're going to do all kinds of really fun stuff. So stay subscribed for that one, and I'll see you again next weekend. Thank you for watching, and namaste. Na 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 na. If I could show you the way, if I could show